purpose of the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council. I'd like to call this meeting to order. And I am going to ask us all to stand for the pledge. And I'm going to ask the Girl Scout Troop 55574 from Field School to come right up where I pointed to earlier to lead us in the pledge. So everyone please rise. Maddie, Stella, Caitlin, Lily, let's go. Come on up. Eleanor, Grace, Mia. Wow. Where's Maddie?
Claire?
Where's Maddie?
Claire. You missed
Come on, Maddie. Look at this trooper. All right, guys, hey, look. Everyone look at me. You're facing the flag right here. Hey, Maddie, take your hand like this and go like this. Perfect. All right, hit it, ladies. Start the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great job. All right, off you go.
Good American.
That's good dadding right there.
Clerk Spencer, please call the roll.
Dunn.
Here.
Leader. Here. Polumsky. Here. Graham.
Here.
Toledo.
Here.
York.
Here.
Levin.
Here.
Park.
Here.
Honquist.
Here.
Kennedy.
Here.
Mulliner. Here. Brennan.
Here.
Sabatino.
Here.
Deuter.
Here.
That's all, everybody. 14 present, 0 absent, right?
14 present, 0 absent. We have a quorum. We are in session. That's no good.
Is that right?
Yes. Everybody's
You okay, clerk? What's going on?
Oh,
two missing for example.
okay. I'm okay.
Are we okay?
I don't
We're
see an empty
okay.
seat. I don't see an empty seat.
Every seat is filled with the past.
It's 14. We're okay.
Much to your chagrin, we have 14 aldermen here.
I'll leave.
I can't believe it, but okay.
Okay, on to agenda item 3, swearing in. Great evening tonight. We have an opportunity to promote 2 of our very own for within the fire department. I'm going to ask the chief and Mark Millett to join me up front here to start with. Oh, I got you. Okay.
It's my own
Hey, Mark,
stupidity.
we turn on the heat today.
Yeah, did you?
We turn on the heat today.
Fire chief.
Freeman, he's right there.
Okay.
The guy with the hat on.
Mark, come up here. Besides that family, do you have any other family? We'll bring them on up here. Let's bring them on up here.
And clicks.
Okay. Come on, family.
Mine is here.
All right, line up here between, Mark, you get on this end, family between. Everyone, come on up. Oh.
Museum guy. Dave. Is he here?
Yeah.
I know you're not supposed to touch him, right?
Well, it's family.
Oh, you are?
Between 2 people, Mike Baker and somebody like that.
Oh, I see now. I think you're
Howard's here.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Mike
All right,
Cobb,
besides Eve, who we met, why don't you tell us who
Chief
we met?
Ruth.
That's my wife, Mary Beth. My daughter Kathleen, my daughter Mary, my brother Andy,
Oh, Valerie.
my brother Michael, my sister-in-law Mary, and they are the primary handlers of the Eagle Comfort Dog, and then Chief Freeman.
Fantastic. That's the first ever having a dog. Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Mark Millett, do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws and ordinances of the City of Elmhurst,
City of Elmhurst.
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Battalion Chief
of the office of Battalion Chief
according to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Here.
All right, we're gonna take a picture.
Everybody?
Squeeze in, can we,
Who's taking exception?
somebody's gonna
Staff.
I can't tell your wife to take the picture.
That little dog. Cute.
Mary Beth, you gotta take a picture. It's not official. You fit?
He's taking selfies.
They do it to me every time. They know I like badges.
It's American
You
badge.
guys one for each state. They've already did
All right, Mary Beth, here you go.
it again.
Yeah, see? We get the jaws of life or something. Give it to a professional. There you go. Oh, jeez. 2 seconds.
I need some tape.
Congratulations.
At the end of the month. You know, if you're on business, you can always call in if it works out, whether it's your step, it works out or not.
Thank you for your work.
Congratulations, well earned. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Still in progress here.
Doing the handshakes.
Congratulations.
Behind you already. He's right behind you. He's taking the tour.
Congrats.
They know the routine.
Congratulations. You did it, right?
In there. Yeah, no, Mark, congratulations, but watch your step, I'm holding on to it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We did good, didn't I do?
Tag team, yeah, good job.
Yes.
All right, William, got everyone here? Yes.
Where did the doggy go?
All right, in between Keith and Bill, let's squeeze in a little bit. And why don't you tell me who we have here?
Got my wife Amy, my son Brady, my dad Bill Senior, and my mom Debbie.
Fantastic, okay. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, William Effling,
I, William Mifflin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Elmhurst,
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Elmhurst,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Fire Lieutenant
of the office of Fire Lieutenant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
People? Which one? The apple? What's the other one? Is that independent? Disaster.
So,
Great, let's take a picture. Squeeze in. Okay, I know the people at the back would like to congratulate you. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
great job, buddy, great job. Thank you for your work.
You too.
You're fun.
Congratulations, well earned. Thank you.
Look forward to your leadership.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was right me here.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
scotch up there. Congratulations. Watch your step.
Congratulations, Lieutenant. What's your step?
Badge rattle.
I want to thank everyone from the police and fire who came to show their support. And also, our police and fire commissioners, please identify yourself, raise your hand. Kevin McGovern, who else we got?
Phil.
Is Emil here? Emil Haddad, thank you for attending. Thank you very much. Is Jim here? Sorry, hi Jim, newest member, Jim. Former Alderman, Jim Parker. Good to see you.
Who's that?
I didn't either. Angela.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that guy?
In purple?
Okay. On with agenda item 4. Receipt of written communications from the public. At this time, is there anyone in the audience who has any written communications they wish to submit? Pardon me. If so, please raise your hand and identify yourself. Anybody who has any written communication? Okay. Seeing none, we're going to now move on to agenda item 5. This is our public forum portion of the meeting. This is an opportunity for anybody in the audience to address the council and specifically the chair on any item they so choose. Once you have been identified, we ask that you make your way over to the microphone over here on my right, your left, right behind Chief Ruth. We are recording this, so we ask that you state your name. Your address is optional. Out of respect for the work that we have to get done here this evening and respect for other folks who may want to speak, we ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. If you go over 3 minutes, I will give you a gentle reminder and ask you to wrap up your comments. Clerk Spencer, at this time, is there anybody who has signed in for public comment?
Yes, we'll start with Claude Pagash, 566 West Gladys.
Claude Poggett, 566 West Gladys. Had some time to read the local papers. Elmhurst Chamber opposes property tax freeze. Not only do they oppose it, city opposes it, Park District opposes it, school opposes it. Yeah, city can't survive without those residents paying property taxes, now can they? That's the reality of it. They're all opposed to it. What's the city going to do? As far as the chamber's concerned, residents will lose services. But just think, chamber got a lot. Businesses got a share of the property. Sales taxes, no hesitation. Businesses got loans from the city, no hesitation about that. But that resident, what did he pick up? General obligation bonds to rework the treatment plant. General obligation bonds to put in the water meters. General obligation bonds to put in new sewer lines, water lines. That's what the resident got. Got a sales tax. Couldn't drop that DuPage County sales tax number now, could you? So who's paying for it all? You guys voted in sheriff sales taxes to businesses. You'll be gone, I'll be gone, and the residents will still be chipping in the sales taxes. I understand government needs money, but then I hear the school board, they got a project going, they want $130 million in general obligation bonds, and they're not even sure about that. City wants $18 million to put up a new railroad station. Commercial properties don't pay for it, the resident does. Going to set up a new TIF, include the school. Going to include the Park District. Nothing for the resident, though, is there? You got a height increase in water bill. You'll get an increase in sewage bill. The fees will go up in the city. So let's be honest about it. What supports this whole mess is the resident. And until legislative bodies understand that and start thinking about the resident, this country was founded because of a tax problem. You can ask your historical member about the Shays Rebellion, the Whiskey Rebellion. That was because of taxes. This very country was founded because of taxes.
Mr. Pagash, you're at your 3 minutes. I'd ask you to wrap up, please.
And when the legislative bodies that we elect only hear what the commercial entities want, then the residents are really in a bad point. So maybe we ought to have our taxes frozen.
Nicole Virgil, 598 South Fairview. Oh,
Sorry.
Nicole. I'm sorry. I'm good.
Good evening, Alderman. Thank you for your time.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Yeah, it's Nicole.
I'm sorry, I thought she just said it. Nicole Virgil? Nicole Virgil? Okay. Most of you guys know me, I'm sure. About 15 months ago, when we were trying to resolve a dispute, or not so much dissolve a dispute, but try to figure out how to find a solution. That was about October 2016, was the first time we asked to work with the city on writing an ordinance that pertained to hoop houses, temporary greenhouse or temporary backyard gardening structure. And we were told that that was not the correct order to follow, that due to the apparent violation that we had committed to some other ordinances, that we would have to go through a judicial process. At that time, we really wanted to work with the city to find out what would be best, or what parameters would make the most sense, or, you know, to work out language or to research language that was used in other communities, et cetera. And we were flatly denied and have been denied for a while along the lines that the judicial process had to be followed. So we submitted to the judicial process, which was rather lengthy and resulted in an appeal, which I know most of you guys have known about, during which time nobody at the city would really engage with us or talk to us at all about this process of, you know, what would the city look for in terms of parameters for a viable, reasonable solution. Our appeal process was, what you might not know is that the appeal judge delayed our hearing. We had postponements 3 times. We should have been heard in August of 2017. We were delayed 3 times until finally in December, they refused to hear us at all and dismissed our case with just a written judgment. We did not, we paid for our court hearing, but we never had a day in court. We just had to work with a lawyer for a really long time. Now it's 15 months after we originally asked to work on an ordinance, and I'm grateful to say that my alderman, Scott Levin, did make a referral to the DP&Z committee back in March of 2017. It was forcibly expired at the election time. He resubmitted that referral in August of this past year, and we still are not on the agenda for the DP&Z committee 15 months after originally asking to work with the city on an ordinance. So I'm aware of this particular ordinance, which I came tonight to find out about it, since I don't really know what else to do at this point. The hearing is over, the judicial process is over, we're still not on the agenda. And so I found this municipal code from the Elmhurst Municipal Code. Reports: each regular or special committee of the City Council shall at the first regular meeting of the City Council in August, November, February, and May report in writing to the Mayor and City Council of the status of all matters which have been referred to said committee and not disposed of for more than 90 days. Said reports shall contain a brief summary of the progress of the referred matter. Our referred matter was referred twice in 2017. We're well past 90 days.
Ms. Virgil, you're over your 3 minutes, and I see you wrap up your comments, please.
I'm so sorry this is going this way, you guys. I hope we can resolve this. Will you?
That's all who signed in, Mayor.
Okay, that's it for public forum for those who signed in on our sign-in sheet that we have at the back of the room before the meeting. At this time, is there anyone in the audience who did not have an opportunity to sign in on our sign-in sheet but wishes to address the council at this time? Let me see a show of hands so I know how many people I'm dealing with. Anybody didn't sign in? Okay, I see one. Ms. Lonergan, please.
Barbara Lonergan. On behalf of the Elmhurst Cool Cities Coalition, I'd like to thank the Public Works Committee for exploring eco-friendly waste services, including food scraps, electronics, and household hazardous waste recycling, as well as investigating fuel-efficient fleets for hauling that waste. We had hoped this new waste contract would include a cleaner vehicle fleet using more compressed natural gas. Even though it does not, the city can still encourage Republic to convert more of its fleet sooner rather than later, and we encourage the city to include CNG fleets as a top priority with the next waste contract. As we've heard from multiple communities that have implemented curbside food scrap collection, they credit their success to a thorough, well-rounded awareness campaign. Elmhurst Cool Cities Coalition and our member partners are willing to assist in educating the community on food scrap recycling. In fact, one of our partners, the Elmhurst Public Library, is focusing its spring programming on the environment, and they have expressed interest in helping to educate the community about the new food scrap program. Cool Cities' upcoming program includes the One Earth Film Festival at Elmhurst College in March, a program on water co-hosted with the League of Women Voters in April, and the Green Garden Fair at the First UCC, as well as a co-sponsored eco car event with the library in May. We're pleased to see food scrap collection becoming a reality. The number of Elmhurst residents interested in living a sustainable lifestyle continues to grow, and we look forward to the city implementing additional sustainable solutions throughout 2018.
Anyone else at this time who wishes to address the council? Seeing none, we'll conclude our public forum portion of the meeting. On to announcements from the dais. Agenda item 6, any announcements? Alderman York.
Thank you. Thursday, February 8th, which is this coming Thursday, is the Elmhurst Memorial Hospital Foundation 18th Annual Chef Fest. I believe it's the 18th annual this year. So it's at Drury Lane, begins at 6 o'clock, concludes at 9. I wasn't able to confirm if there's still availability, but go to the hospital website and look for the foundation and check it out. It's a great event. Raises a lot of money for the hospital.
Okay, thank you. Any other announcements? Alderman Dunn.
Just want to make a note that this Saturday at 9 a.m. there is a blood drive at our fire station number 2. That starts at 9 o'clock. I believe it goes until 2 p.m. Would encourage everyone, if possible, to get there and give blood. The reserves are down, and we could use all that is available. Thanks.
Okay, any other announcements? Seeing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. At this time, is there any item on the consent agenda any alderman wishes to see removed to provide comment or vote no? Alderman York.
7.8.
7.8. Any other items any alderman wish to have removed? Alderman Bram.
7.12.
What was that?
7.12. Okay, I've got 7.8, 7.12. Any others? Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda minus items 7.8 and 7.12. Motion by Alderman Brennan, second by Alderman Toledo. Clerk Spencer.
Dunn.
Aye.
Leader.
Aye.
Polemski. Graham.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Levin.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Onquist.
Aye.
Kennedy.
Aye.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Sabatino.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
14 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries. Consent agenda is approved, minus items 7.8 and 7.12. On to 7.8. This is a report out of Finance. Clerk Spencer, I'd ask that you read the recommendation.
It is therefore the recommendation of the Finance, Council Affairs, and Administrative Services Committee that the City Council establish a fund balance policy for the motor fuel tax fund of 15% of proposed budgeted annual revenues, and direct staff to develop a plan to reduce the existing motor fuel tax fund balance to 15% level during fiscal years 2019 and 2020. Signed by Kevin L. York, Chairman, Mark Sabatino, Vice Chairman, Tina Park, and Mike Brennan.
Okay, to put this before council, I will ask for a motion to approve the report and recommendation as read. Motion by Alderman York, second by Alderman Sabatino. Alderman York, your report.
Thank you, Your Honor. So just a point of clarification. It was brought to my attention today via email from an esteemed Pine Street resident that there could be confusion about this report. This report, and we forgot one important word, this report addresses the city's state motor fuel tax fund. The city, as you will recall, has two motor fuel tax funds. One of them is a local tax fund and one of them is a state tax fund. The state tax fund, which is what we're dealing with tonight, is a special revenue account, and it's money that we get from the state of Illinois per capita for motor fuel taxes, our share of motor fuel taxes, and we use those as the report explains. The other local motor fuel tax fund was established about 2010, and as it was being established, I believe Chairman Kennedy made a motion to use that money for stormwater and flood control. And that's what we've been doing ever since its inception. I'll have actual dollar amounts for the whole period, but it averages about $120,000 a year is what we do, and that obviously all gets spent on flooding. So this is the state fund versus the local fund. I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Clerk Spencer, please call the roll.
Dunn.
Aye.
Leader.
Aye.
Lumpsky.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Levin.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Honquist.
Aye.
Kennedy.
Aye.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Sabatino.
Aye.
Goiter.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
14 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries. Agenda item 7.8 is approved. On to 7.12. This is an ordinance. Clerk Spencer, I'd ask that you read the ordinance.
An ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement for residential solid waste collection and disposal services by and between Allied Waste Services of North America, LLC, and the City of Elmhurst.
Okay, to put this before council, I'll ask for a motion to approve the ordinance as read. Motion by Alderman Kennedy, second by Alderman Deuter. Alderman Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is just the ordinance to formalize the report that was approved by council 2 weeks ago. So with that, I'll defer to Alderman Bram, who pulled the item.
Okay, Alderman Bram, you had this pulled.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I spoke to it 2 weeks ago, I am in support of composting. I led a referral many years ago in regards to the smaller toter, the 35-gallon toter. I believe many residents, as we see as this report more than likely moves forward, or this ordinance moves forward, that many residents will be moving to that toter, especially seniors. The only concern or issue I have with this ordinance, just like I did with the report 2 weeks ago, is that we are charging, per this agreement with our vendor being Allied or Republic, double the per gallon cost for the smallest toter compared to the 95-gallon toter. If we truly believe in the sustainability policy that we've all agreed to and signed off on, and I believe are marching towards, we wouldn't be charging more to getting rid of less waste and putting less into our landfills. We send one message saying that we believe in composting and we're moving forward with that, but then we send a totally different message in my perspective that we charge close to double per gallon cost for the smaller toter. I will say that during some of my research, my personal research, you know, Glen Ellen, who has the same vendor, is less per month, relatively, in my eyes at least, significantly less per month for the same size toter with the same vendor. Alderman Kennedy has said, I believe, last committee meeting as well as, or last time we talked about this in committee as well as at the last council meeting, I could be wrong in regards to the council meeting, in regards to the administration cost. And he's made it known, and the consensus of the council has agreed along the lines of having the administration costs be the same no matter what size toter you have. Now that we're at that point, this is the one and only chance that we're going to have in 5 years before this contract is up again to really level set what the cost should be. So if we have the same administration cost for no matter what toter you have, and I buy into that, but I only buy into that if you have the appropriate cost per gallon for the various toters and the appropriate charge for the various toters. In this case, it's not. We're talking 41 cents versus 25 cents for the 95. We're talking $14.32 for the 35 and $24.02. You can't argue saying that all the administration costs should be the same, but then double, well, not double, but significantly increase the per gallon cost for the smaller toter. I think it's not right, it's not fair. I think it's against the seniors. The seniors are more than likely the ones who are gonna utilize the smaller toter. And we're sending a message that we are gonna charge them more per gallon than the larger families who throw more into the landfills. How is that fair? How is that the right thing to do? Again, I'll just wrap up and say, I agree with composting. I agree with our sustainability policy, and I've made referrals, one of which having this 35-gallon implemented for many years, and I've argued for many years, so I'm glad to see it move forward. But then how do you say in the same breath that you should be charging significantly more for sending less to the landfills? I don't agree, and therefore, for that main reason, I can't support this.
Okay, any other comments? Alderman Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to clarify for the council that this ordinance is to accept the agreement between Allied and the city of Elmhurst. The actual cost that will be passed on to the residents is something that Public Works will take on in coming weeks and months ahead of usually, I think, the rate increase that happens around April of every year. So take Alderman Bram's comments, but the final rates will be determined by another action by the Public Works Committee in a report before this group later on this year. Thank you.
Any other comments? Alderman Bram.
I agree with Alderman Kennedy's comments along the lines of what you will be seeing is more than what is being published in this ordinance. What this ordinance is committing to is what we will be paying Allied per each toter. And then the city of Elmhurst adds additional costs on top of that. And some of those additional costs is the administration fees that I've already spoke to tonight and 2 weeks ago. So yes, that is an accurate statement. We will see an increase, but that increase will be, at least according to past history of last year, level set across all of the toter options.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Clerk Spencer.
Dunn.
Aye.
Leader.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Bram.
No.
Toledo,
Aye.
York,
Aye.
Levin,
Aye.
Park,
Aye.
Conquest,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Mulliner, Brennan,
Aye.
Sabatino,
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
13 ayes, 1 nays.
39 ayes, 1 nay. Motion carries. Agenda item 7.12 is approved. On to reports and recommendations. Mayor Morley, that's me. One quick report. Oh, two. The Heritage Foundation is holding a fundraiser, is it?
It's
On what day?
February 15th.
10th anniversary for the Heritage Foundation is on February 15th. They're holding a fundraiser. I think it's going to be an official welcome to our very own Dave Oberg. Dave, raise your hand. So I encourage all of you to get out and support the foundation and Mr. Oberg. Quick report for me. On January 24th, the city held a JRB, a Joint Review Board. As most of you are aware, the city is considering and going through the process of potentially creating a TIF in our downtown area. In fact, we're calling it our downtown TIF. As spelled out in state law, we had a Joint Review Board. In attendance were 6 taxing bodies. The Joint Review Board's goal or task during that meeting is to determine whether or not the proposed TIF meets the criteria to establish a TIF. This is a conservation TIF that's being proposed, and there are 13 potential criteria that can be met. The city of Elmhurst has stated that we believe we meet 5 of the 13. To establish a TIF, according to state law, you need only 3 of the 13 requirements to establish a TIF. So we held the JRB, and like I said, all many of the taxing bodies were represented. The vote was 5-1 in favor, so we moved forward. The school board was the one dissenting vote. I just want to point out a couple of things. At that time, at the JRB, the school board read a statement for the record. In that statement, they listed 5 things, 5 potential issues they had with the TIF being established. What's interesting is, as part of their statement, not only did they demand a meeting with the city manager and the superintendent, but they also demanded that all issues be resolved by February 27th. Now, I find this quite surprising, that they would request a meeting and also state that all differences needed to be, my interpretation, all differences needed to be resolved by the 27th. As people will recall, and I will make this another reiteration of my standing offer for a meeting with the school board to join me in a public meeting to discuss any issues we may have, whether it's regarding TIF or any other issues we have between us. I believe that open and transparency is the best way to go on that. The reason why I bring this up is not only was there a demand for a meeting, but there was a resolution demand by the 27th. I'm happy to say that City Manager Grabowski and Superintendent Dave Moyer got together the very next day via email to set up a meeting. So I know staff is doing the best that they can. A meeting was set up for, I believe it was the 29th, maybe whatever the following Tuesday is. And this is where I am not sure I understand the motivation of the school board. And I want to reiterate that the city stands ready to answer any and all questions that anybody has with regard to this endeavor. But the first thing that the district stated in the statement that they read, it said the district questions whether the proposed TIF meets the eligibility criteria for a TIF as specified under applicable statutory criteria. We asked in writing and we asked at the meeting, what specific criteria does the district feel we do not meet? And the answer in writing and at the meeting was the district is not in a position to address the specific criteria at this time. I point that out to say, we stand ready and willing to answer any questions, but when we get to a meeting and we ask for a clarification and cannot get clarification, I question our ability to come together and meet to some sort of resolution by the 27th. I know the city manager has a set of points that he has provided or can provide to Mr. Moyer. In addition, if an IGA is needed before the 27th, I am certain that we can get an IGA done before the 27th. We just need a little feedback better than we're not prepared to discuss it at this time. That's it for me for my report. City Manager?
Thank you. 2 items. One, that's correct. We did meet on the 29th with the superintendent and his staff, and we're trying to get another meeting together for this week to keep the process going and the communication open with the district. Second item I have is the next council meeting will be delayed 1 day due to the President's Day holiday, so that'll be on Tuesday the 20th rather than the 19th.
Okay, any other reports? Alderman Honquist, did you have your hand up?
I was going for other business, sorry.
Oh. Any other reports? Alderman Bram, you have a report.
I would like to ask if the city has received a response from the O'Hare FAA, or the FAA meeting, let me reiterate that, back in early October. We had a meeting in these chambers with the FAA. The residents submitted many questions, and we were hoping to, or I was hoping to see if we have received the responses back from those questions and when they will be shared with the public.
I don't think we have yet, right? Okay, we had a meeting with the FAA, as Alderman Bram said, similar to what we did about 2 or 3 years ago. At the meeting, at both meetings, the forum that we had, we asked residents to write down all their questions and send them up, and then we kind of aggregated them because some of them were very similar. But what we did is we did compile a list and we sent to the FAA. They have responded with a partial response. I know staff is going back to them to get some more specific answers. As with the last meeting, we will post those online when we have them, but I think we can post the partial answers that we have. So we'll get those up this week, the partial answers, and then whatever holes are missing, we'll go back to the FAA.
Thank you.
All right, any other reports? Seeing none, we'll go on to other business. Any other business? Alderman Honquist.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to comment on your report, since not all of us are at the joint review board meetings, that at the last joint review board meeting where we discussed TIFs and our go-forward plan, it was brought up by a member of the school board that he was not aware of a standing offer that the mayor's had since September of last year for us to meet. I get really tired of these kind of comments. I'm disappointed to hear it yet again. But we have had standing offers. I was part of a communication committee going back to stormwater when I was first appointed, then elected to the city council, to have regular meetings and discussions with the school board. And consistently, my words take shots at the city council for not being transparent or not willing to communicate, and it's farther from the truth. And I have an email to the school board member that I was with that night that clearly stated from the mayor an invitation to come in to meet. So I just want to reiterate the mayor's comments and second him that this has been a standing offer for literally years. And given what has been consistently labeled as miscommunication between the two parties, it has not been miscommunication. It has been a lack of effort to properly communicate. And as they move forward, as one of our residents pointed out tonight, with a very large ask from the residents of this city for a potentially significant tax increase, I think they ought to work at doing a better job at getting along with the city. And those are my comments.
Thank you. Any other business? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman York, second by Alderman Mulliner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.